midweek match week, of course, in the Premier League. It finished Palace 1, Brentford 1 at Selhurst Park. Johan Wieser scoring a late equaliser for Brentford. Wilf Zaha giving the hosts a lead with a terrific goal. It's now just 1 defeat in 5 for Fulham after their 2-1 win over informed Brighton. Alexander Mitrovic scoring the opening goal, his 5th goal in as many games. Southampton registering their first home win over Chelsea in 9 years. They came from behind after Raheem Sterling's opener with goals from the Saints from both Lavia and Armstrong. And as we've seen, it's finished Leeds 1, Everton 1 at Ellen Road. There are a few games on Wednesday, of course. You've got Bournemouth, Wolves, Arsenal, Villa, Manchester City, the champions, against New Boys Nottingham Forest, West Ham against Spurs in a London derby, before Liverpool take on Newcastle at Anfield. And on Thursday, the solitary fixture there at the King Power Stadium between Leicester and Manchester United. So the bottom half of the table, Everton in 15th position, 3 points from their first 5 games, still winless and looking for that first 3-pointer of the new campaign. Crystal Palace there in 13th position after today's games with 5 points from as many games. At the other end, well, the big movers towards the top end, Leeds United, who are in 5th place with that point today. 8 points to their name from their first 5 games. Fulham, one of the surprise teams, I suppose, in that top half. 8 points from their first 5 games, just 1 defeat to their name so far. Southampton just behind them after that impressive win over Chelsea. They move up to 7th. You've got Chelsea in 8th and Brentford in 9th.
And he stepped up when it really mattered.
That winner coming in first half injury time from Adam Armstrong. Let's get some post-match reaction now from the Southampton dressing room. Here's their head coach. Oh, in fact, let's hear from Thomas Tuchel first from Chelsea.
Well, Thomas, how do you sum that one up tonight?
Difficult and a bit early. I don't know why, but we start well in all the games almost, and obviously we struggle with our focus and with the consistency in matches. It's not enough to play 20 minutes good. We did the same in Leeds. And one thing goes against us, and then we struggle to find answers, and we struggle to fight our way back if the things don't go in our direction. Today they went in our direction, and still with the equalizer we started to struggle and to adapt, and gave it completely out of our hands, and it's the situation.
Does it concern you that it will take time to sort of dissect and work out why things aren't clicking, bearing in mind the games?
I don't know if concern is the right word. I absolutely dislike to lose, and it's already 2nd time in the season, very early, and it does not take. I think it does not take a lot to beat us. This is what I don't like. We are humble enough to understand that we can lose football matches and, of course, away matches. This is also, we don't like it, and we try to win every match, but the way we do this is for sure something we need to understand as fast as possible and to change.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek came off at half-time. Was that a knock or...?
Yeah, it's a hamstring injury, so next midfielder out, there's no one left. So the recommendation for Mateo Kovacic was 20 minutes. We made 45 out of it. It's a situation I also don't understand why we are in this situation regarding the injuries, and the injuries like all players in midfield. But that's the way it is, and we need to find solutions.
Are you also confused as to how it's only Raheem Sterling at the minute that's giving you sort of attacking returns in your forward line?
Yeah, it is what it is. It's a reality, and we played with 4 offensive players now many times. We, like I said, I think in the first 20 minutes we created quite chances, half chances, but we struggled to score, which is also not brand new for us, and does not necessarily need to have the consequence that you lose matches. You can also win 1-0, you can win 2-0 with a late goal, so no problem. But then you need to have a clean sheet. You need to be more focused, and the amount of individual errors, lack of concentration is simply too high at the moment to win football matches consistently. We can win, of course, what we proved, but it's not consistent enough.
As Chelsea manager, what did you make of what you heard there, Leanne?
I think it's interesting because I don't think you can make excuses for Chelsea. I mean, yes, they've got injuries, so has every other team, you know, in the Premier League. They've got an unbelievable depth in their squad, and I think I hear a lot of excuses, but I think they're struggling with their identity right now. I think last year people thought they were getting in Lukaku, they were going to win the league. That was literally what a lot of people were saying. And then from that moment on, you know, Tuchel coming in, winning the Champions League, did really, really well. But I think they're struggling right now with their identity. And I think certain players like Rudiger leaving, I think, you know, that's questionable. Mason Mount did all right tonight, but didn't really offer a lot. And I think they're struggling with what formation to play, whether it's a 3, whether it's a 4-4-2. And without Reece James playing, obviously that's a massive loss for tonight. But for me, at the end, Mendy coming up, you know, trying to score a goal, the goalkeeper, yes, that's great. But this is Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? They shouldn't be in desperation against the Southampton team, who deserved the result, I thought, tonight.
Did they look disjointed to you, Leon?
Yes. And I thought it was very un-Chelsea-like performance. And I get that feeling from his team. I get that feeling from him as well. I thought it was quite honest in the way he said that his team are too easy to score against and too easy to play against. You know, how often we've seen Chelsea teams will not only start well, which his team did, but once they've got control of the game, they'll either score the goals to take it out of sight or they'll control the game. They're not controlling a game like top sides do at the moment. They're giving the opposition the opportunity to get up ahead of steam, to put them on the back foot. And the most disappointing thing, I thought, for me was in the second half, or once you've had half-time and you're behind, you make your changes or you send out the same 11 and you ask for them to step up the game, to go and find a way back into the game, to go show character, to go show quality. I didn't really think they troubled Southampton in the second half. Maybe 1 or 2 half chances, but not that sustained threat that a top Premier League side should be able to deliver to break the opposition down. Chelsea are just off the pace at the moment.
So do you agree with Leon that they've lost a bit of their identity?
I think the fact that Rudiger, you know, we talk about the qualities that he has as a defender. I think his character is a big miss.
What, the leadership qualities?
The leadership qualities. Somebody
win at all costs. Yeah. I think Rudiger would do absolutely.
Somebody that will drive the team forward. Somebody that, you know, would probably punch his mother in the face for a victory. You know, that kind of character within the side. They're very nice to play against at the moment, Chelsea. They're easy for oppositions to score against, and Thomas Tuchel won't be happy with that.
I prefer taking candy from a child.
Yeah, I didn't really know where I was going there for a moment.
Yeah. But look, we mustn't forget, Chelsea are the biggest spenders in the Premier League over this summer transfer window. So have you been expecting more from them?
I think so, but like I said, it doesn't matter how much money you spend if you've got no plan in place.
Yeah, or a focal point, I suppose, because that's one of their main issues right now, is it not? Is replacing Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah, but they've also got Sterling in there who can score goals. I mean, they missed so many chances tonight. They had so many chances they could have scored, which usually you'd expect them to put away. I know they're talking about Aubameyang coming in, but you can't make excuses all the time. They've spent a lot of money, but they just don't look like they're at the races. And Reece James not playing tonight is a massive loss, but you can't lose a couple of players and make excuses about injuries. They have good enough quality, but Mason Mount just doesn't seem as impactful as he was last season at times, and that's not really his fault. It doesn't look like the players know where each other are. You know, Ruben Loftus-Cheek coming in off the wing, that's not his best position. You know, it's almost like they've got injuries, but you can't make excuses for them.
There's no doubt that the fact that all of his injuries, I mean, they do have a large enough squad, Chelsea, on the whole, but when all your injuries, and he mentioned it in his interview, hit you in the same position, you're not equipped to deal with that. You know, he spoke, Loftus-Cheek's picked up an injury, Kovacic could only play 20 minutes, Kante's out. You know, when you're suffering big injuries to big players in one position, it can be difficult. So suddenly you're playing players out of position, you're hoping you can adapt. Reece James has played a number of different positions. Azpilicueta is in and out, he's right back, he's centre back, because, you know, they're rumoured to need Fofana. So I don't think they're the finished article. I do think they'll improve, but you know, if you're going to compete at the very top of the league, you're going to try and compete for championships, and you're going to try and run who we do think is going to be, again, Manchester City and Liverpool close. You can't lose 2 of your opening games.
No. And let's not forget, there might be a different look to this Chelsea team, particularly up top, by the end of this transfer window, come Thursday night here in the UK. Let's have a look at the one positive, Raheem Sterling. 3 goals now in 2 games, and of course, as we saw moments ago, his goal was well taken to give Chelsea the lead. Yeah,
we spoke a lot about this interchangeability during the game with Ziyech and Mount, and Cucurella makes us run down the left-hand side, and it's a really, really good assist from Mount in there, and the way Sterling has his composure, I said it before, I think if he's playing for Manchester City, I think he pulls that back, but he's got that willingness, you know, that leadership that I thought Manchester City letting him go was quite, you know, borderline impossible, because I can't believe Chelsea got him through the door so quickly. And this is a fantastic run as well from Kai Havertz.
But the way, how narrow Chelsea are, you know, how often are we used to seeing Chelsea with the wing-backs spreading the pitch? It was Chilwell and Reece James making the pitch as big as they possibly could last season when we thought they were playing well. They've adopted a different style at the moment. They're very narrow, as we said, whether that's because of personnel he thinks he's got available to him, trying to get people into the most natural positions, or that's the style he wants to play. We'll see in a few weeks or so, but good finish by Sterling. But the reaction from Southampton and that, for your first Premier League goal, it was absolutely true. Look, he sees the gap, touch out of his feet, opens the position up even more, and Mendy may have been unsighted, but it's a terrific finish.
Romeo Lavia, the 18-year-old, opening his account. Obviously, it's a moment to remember for him. Edouard Mendy?
Yeah, I think he's been questionable this season. I think Mendy was brilliant last year, but I think he's cost Chelsea a couple of situations this year. We saw him getting stuck on the ball against Tottenham. So, but Lavia, a great finish, but I do think Mendy has to do better there. He gets a hand to it, but not strong enough.
Let's have another look here, and see, you know, the crowd of players in front of him, whether it did play a big part.
Yeah, well, first of all, that clearance from Azpilicueta is really poor. Got to use his other foot. Got to make sure it clears further than that. I'm giving Lavia credit for the way he opens his body up, but I think if you see Koulibaly, you see Mendy, he's right behind Koulibaly. Probably doesn't see it until there. Reacts late, can't get enough of a hand to it to make sure he keeps it out. But Lavia's hit it so hard, so precise, and it was a really good goal.
I think the players now as well are so mindful of giving away a handball.
Yeah.
You know, Koulibaly, Azpilicueta, the first